Всем привет! Ну, наконец-то мы победили этого Рене и будем наслаждаться заслуженным отдыхом в диалогах. Смотрим.
Yay! You're awake! How are you feeling? Any aches and pains? Did you sleep well?
I'm doing all right, Paimon.
Phew! Well, that's good. Paimon's been sitting on the edge of the bed worrying about you for ages. You slept a whole day and night.
Glad to hear you didn't starve. How was the food?
Well, it wasn't the same without you there to share. Honestly, Paimon just can't relax when you're not your usual self. She couldn't enjoy the
Наконец-то они
food and
нашли
settle down to sleep.
озвучку, в смысле актрису для озвучивания главного персонажа. Ну это просто капец. Я все дополнения проходила, она как будто бы немая.
Well, I'm back to normal now.
Oh yeah, and Albedo swung by earlier. He said to tell you to head to the tavern when you woke up. Varker and the other, he also dropped off some medical supplies, but you seem fit as a fit. If you're feeling up to it, let's head over now. Wouldn't want to keep them waiting. We're here!
Traveler and Paimon! Perfect timing! We were literally just saying how there's no...
How are you feeling today?
Much better, thanks.
Relieved to hear it. If that changes, just let me know.
Yep, we're here for you. Anything you need, just let us know.
Oh wait, where's Nefer?
How are her eyes doing?
Nefer's right over there. I'm sure she'd love to catch up with you.
Traveler, Paimon, are you recovering well? Turns out that moon chanter has some real talent after all. My eyes were mostly recovered after just a couple days' rest.
Yeah, but you gotta be careful.
Yes, thank you. I'm well aware.
Yehuda, could I borrow you for a moment?
Oh, sure! Did you hear that? I gotta go help Lauma for a second.
You bet! Make it up!
Sure thing!
The Raker of Solnari. Kind of a snake, don't you think? No, definitely a snake. A poisonous one who anyone who seeks revenge out of hatred for other people has become a snake. That's something my dad used to say. Perhaps. I'm sure it sounds like a very wise and open-hearted perspective to your ears. But me? I think hatred is a perfectly justifiable emotion. What else is left when everything you depended on in life gets stripped away? Something's gotta fuel that. If you're worried about me, you can nip that in the bud. I'm not someone. It's just... I suddenly feel like I was wrong to call my father a liar. He was just... Oh, Father. How much better things could have been if you were a skilled liar. Look at the Ibis King. Thoth is a fiendishly cunning liar. And yet, strangely, he feels more like a father to me than my real dad ever was. He's never brought it up, but I'd bet he feels the same way. Why else would he give me the power to perceive the truth, while at the same time training me in the art of deception? Well, King Deshret banished him to Aru, which is essentially a prison, and posed 3 questions to him. He promised that he'd have his freedom. His response was to take on a physical form and approach me, hoping that I could be... Did he really think I'd fall for that? He's stuck there. He can't make me return what he gave to me. So that's enough for you to decide he's nice, is it? He's a prisoner, and he was scared. So he decided to perform some good deeds. He lives in fear because he's a deceiver. How is Rerir any different? You can't work as a spy. It's preposterous. Yet I can't say I don't understand it. Liars live in the darkness of their own making. But they say that a liar's soul is the most worthless thing in the world. What do you think? Good. If you understand that, it means, if you ask me, the soul of a liar really is worth nothing. Because all they care about is themselves. For example, when something good falls into my lap, I don't go sharing the news around. So be it. They have sharp ears. I can't keep anything from them. Wow, is that what it looks like? Well, you all know my past now. And I can't simply eliminate everyone who knows too much. So I get when you find yourself in a situation you can't control. The safest play is to keep calm and start monitoring everyone involved like a hawk. If you understand what's at stake, please ensure my secret is safe with you. I trust you very good.
Oh, wait! Now that the panic's over and we've all calmed down, after all that build-up, our mystery...
Huh? Am I imagining things?
So, that close colleague who stayed behind with you? What's he been up to recently?
Don't know, don't care. I get more normal human interaction from hanging out with Bosco too than him. Although, now you mention it, he hasn't bothered me in a while.
If he's disappeared without a trace, it's the biggest gift he ever gave to the world. He won't lie low forever. So we'd better stay on.
Lord Sangama Bay. How lovely. I must thank you for the device you provided. It was an enormous...
Why come and ask me when you clearly know?
I mostly came to thank...
That's more like it. A little gratitude goes a long way with Lord Sangama Bay. Play your cards right and you...
The chance to work with such a kind and charitable investor as yourself.
Huh? Charitable? Who's it?
Let's see. The first plot of land you purchased in Nodкраe.
Stop! What do you think you're doing? Exposing my
It's nothing to hide from. They're all perfectly legitimate investments. And some of the land you purchased was with the
How did...
You're a curious case, Lord Sangama Bay. You don't like people finding out about... But I'm afraid no matter how hard you try to keep things under wraps... You did it for Sumeru, didn't you?
It was empty land that was gonna go to waste otherwise. I figured if I built something there, disasters are capricious things. They strike without any warning. I've lost family to a disaster before, and I don't... My elder sister used to dream of finding a sanctuary. Somewhere with plenty of food, water, and medicine. It was something I looked into, but after discussing things with the Dendro Archon, the tech people handled the tech, and Moneybags provided the Mora. It just made the most sense.
It's a pity that so few people know the truth about you. Everyone says that you view everything in terms of Mora and all you care about.
So? What's the problem with that? Everyone wants to be rich, it's...
But surely you have dreams of your own beyond just making Mora.
You don't get it, do you? My dream is to invest in other people's dreams. Just thinking about it makes me happy.
Thank you.
For the device?
And the pendant.
Oh, that. I was just returning.
Seems like we've both been away from home.
Yeah. So long.
That would be your mother, father, and...
Yeah. Though it's been It's not like I want to forget them, obviously, but Memory can be even more root. My sister can't help me now. Slowly but surely, her
Not everything will fade. When loved ones pass away.
Yeah, that's true. If you ask me.
Well, that, plus, I'm sure that life.
Oh, absolutely. I have tons of Mora, a big, beautiful house. You've got a lot going for you, too. Boss of the Curatorium of Secrets?
I appreciate the vote of confidence.
How have you been holding up? Any adverse reactions? If you start to take a turn for the worse, make sure you tell me right away.
You don't need to worry about me, Grandmaster. I'm fine.
What?
You played an indispensable role in the battle for Nodкраe. We can't thank you enough for your support. Sometimes, when people praise you, it's because you deserve it. The best thing is to accept it calmly and with grace.
Let's do a quick demonstration. Albedo, that was an incredible feat of alchemy. The pressure was on.
Thank you. I can't take all the credit, though.
See? Did you catch that? A masterclass in how to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did work.
Hey, you guys!
Hey, look who's bounced back. Looking good, traveler.
Seems like you've recovered.
Can I get you a drink?
Huh? You know how to order at a...
Handling a drinks order is ridiculously simple compared to
Paimon believes it. You're clearly a fast learner. To be totally honest, though, Paimon didn't quite follow all the details when...
Don't worry, that's completely understandable. Unless you're a student of
To put it in the simplest terms, we saw how our enemy stole the power of Kuvaki. And that gave up. When facing an enemy you have no hope of defeating, it's best not to engage them in battle. So, instead of looking for a way to overpower him, we decided to help. For this to work, we had to analyze his modes of attack, confirm who his main target was, and make sure. For added security, we prepared a total of 4 arrays. But to mitigate the impact of the battle, we identified the alchemical array absorbed his abyssal power. Then Durin processed it to render it usable by Columbina. That power enabled her to do what would otherwise have.
What surprised me was that Dainsleif actually agreed to join us. Given his history with Rerir, he had every right to sit this one out. But we're extremely grateful for the...
It must have been a painful choice to make. But I'm sure that making it is...
Absolute. He was torn between 2 paths, but in the end, he made his choice and stuck to it resolutely. He doesn't strike... Anyway, however you cut it, everyone gave a stellar
That's the only reason you're here.
Yes. I've thought a lot about it. And I think this is very important.
So, well, this is a new one. I'm so moved. I can't even hold my teacup.
Do you not want to be friends with me? Or is it that you prefer being co-workers?
What is this, Columbina? Are you deliberately testing my patience threshold? Right now, my politeness module is active. But if you say...
If your politeness module was active, wouldn't you say the word please? That's...
Polonia, please see Lady
Will you still invite me to your next tea party?
What?
Yes, I think you will. Bye-bye, dear Sandrone.
Last time, the Wild Hunt escorted you out. Would you rather I handled it myself? We just wanted to, see how you were doing now that... Why? Out of concern for my safety? I hope you didn't seriously think that the Reihir of Solnari would be able to lay so much as a finger upon me. Mostly because you kind of helped us out, so we just wanted to check you were okay. Looks like all your robots are fixed, huh? Oh, don't you worry about that. Tea time is already arrived. If you're in the mood for tea, go ahead and help yourself. My coasters are still missing in action, though. Use this notebook instead. Whoa! pretty hefty notebook.
You can ignore those. They're just I doodle and write in my free time. Sometimes I remember the distant dreamlike past. Sometimes and other times, I grit my teeth and note down all the crazy nonsense going on in the present. Some people do the cross. Trying to predict the future is like daydreaming. And writing about the present just makes me furious. The past is my favorite. If nothing else, Although, having said that, the only vaguely interesting memory in my past is probably who else? Pretty much all the Mecca and Fontaine are his personal.
Wait, are you saying you know him?
I mean, I guess we were friendly enough. Yep. In fact, I'm probably the only normal person left who knew him at all. We used to chat occasionally back when he was still around. Before he passed away, he asked me to destroy all. I honored his request. But I did read through everything first before I couldn't let the genius of Lord Artificer.
So, that's where the formulas
I just told you. Those are my equivalent of crossword puzzles. They're just... Alain's work was like epic poetry. The formulas in my notebook are just silly. Not that there's anything bad about them. I mean, at least, solving those riddles isn't going to hurt anyone. Except me, because I lose a few brain cells in the process. Anyway, while we're on the topic, I might as well tell you about what happened to him and his friends. Alena Giliotina had two close buddies, René and Jacob. They spent their childhood years together in the Narcissienkreyza Institute. They were all quite competitive, so there was some rivalry between them. But it was a friendly rivalry. But beneath the friendship and the rivalry ran something deeper, a sense of nostalgia for the past. Unfortunately, childhood would end. The prophecy would come true. The apocalypse would arrive, and the future would never be. A mad dream that would normally only capture the minds of lunatics begin to take root in their hearts. A dream. And if René and Alena had been people of lesser wits, that dream would probably have ended up as something for them to joke about in their... But alas, they were some of the sharpest minds around. They nurtured that dream with the full power of their intellect, and it grew into something that ate away at their souls. The first of them to fall under its spell was René. Against Alain's wishes, he persisted in experimenting on a mutual friend of theirs to try and save their life. Alena did not approve and parted ways with René. It's complicated. Alena wanted to believe that René only did what he did for the sake of their friendship. But when he told me about what happened, I could tell he still had some suspicions about René's motive. Perhaps the seed that would grow into a nightmare had already sprouted in René's mind. Even then. The next time they met, René's soul had been completely engulfed by the dream of salvation. His futile attempt to change the tide of fate only resulted in a wave that swallowed up the world, even before the apocalypse came. And although that wave died down eventually, I hear that it just recently came back with a vengeance. As I understand, René wanted to live out his dream of salvation once more. But I'm told that the attempted resurgence finally died out for good. At long last, what do you think of René? Do you admire his transcendent genius? His view that any price was worth paying to achieve? Or do you despise him? Dismiss him as an evil madman who wrought havoc on... Same difference, really. Doesn't surprise me. You share one thing in common. The only difference is, your dream came true, and his... I don't like fanatics who give up their whole lives for their ideology. Nor do I like fools who let their delusions... Maybe I could understand if René had just been an ordinary person. But Anyway, that's enough about René. Now, moving on to he managed to put a stop to the first storm whipped up by René. To his credit, I suppose, the loss of his family and friends was purely a tragic accident. It's not like Alena sacrificed them for his cause or anything. After that, the only thing supporting his work was the same dream that had dragged his closest friend down to the abyss.
But although the desire to save Fontaine drove him to found the Fontaine Research Institute, Alain continued to reject any form of transcendental knowledge or power. I think that formulas and machines derived solely from human intellect were the only thing that gave him a sense of... Yet Alain's intellect was simply too great. It barely left him space to breathe in his... Once he realized that the end of his life was approaching, he finally accepted the truth. The Narcissisenkreuz Institute needed... He quit working on his formulas, trading them in for the fairy tales that had played such a formative role in his childhood, but which he barely touched. He told me that the director of the Narcissisenkreuz Institute used to read those fairy tales to the children as bedtime stories. Apparently, they worked wonders at sending kids. I think that all he wanted at that time in his life was to be able to sleep deeply without being plagued by depression. By that point, nothing else really mattered. At the very end, he laid down to rest in the ruins of the former Narcissisenkreuz Institute orphanage, while the Fontaine Research Institute he had founded continued tirelessly with its work. Many years after that, tensions over competing dreams would once again cause a rift, this time between members of the Fontaine Research Institute. But the actions of those fools had nothing at all to do with Alain. And that is the story of two people from the Narcissisenkreuz. One went all in on his fantasy of salvation without ever looking back, and the other sought desperately to burn bright in his life. Even I do sometimes wonder, why is it that even the grandest tree starts as a tiny seed? So perhaps, for each of them, their mission to save the world began with they were young children with friends and family who mattered to them, desires to explore the meaning of life, ambitions to have a successful career. Or maybe they just wanted to find something to anchor themselves within the chaos, to stop them getting quietly swept away by the storms of life. But instead, the search for their own salvation took them down the rocky road laid out by fate. Do you think the desire to save oneself is enough of a justification to try and save the world? Sensible answer. Glad to know you've got your head. Alain would disagree, though. I asked him the same question back when he was in his prime. Yes, it's enough. No elaboration, just a quick, short answer before getting right back to his work. All right, tea time's over. I owe Arlecchino a favor for telling me these stories. I'll have to bring a whole sack of gifts the next time I visit the house of the... I'm gonna go tinker with Polonia now. You guys can do whatever you want, as long as it doesn't involve interrupt... Polonia, exit hibernation mode. Begin diagnostics.